Hello everyone, this is Mumbo here, welcome back, and today we are back on the Hermitcraft Modsauce server, ready to record episode 1 of my modded Let's Play series. And I gotta tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I am very excited for this, also a little bit nervous. In fact, yeah, I'm quite nervous, alright? There is so much stuff going on here already. I haven't played on the server all week, and that's just because I have been so busy. I haven't had a time to even touch the keys of my keyboard. That's how busy I have been. I recorded all of my Minecraft videos a week ago. This is my first time recording in a week, so I'm a little bit shaky. I might be a little bit out of practice. Probably going to say some strange things live on camera, as I always seem to do anyway. But I am excited because this is the brand spanking new Modsauce server that we have got for you. And look at it. Look at this place. I mean, I'm not quite so fond of the Podzol. But other than that, I mean, would you look at that? We have got these crazy trees about. We've got all these massive farms with these big old barrels here. I mean, there is everything about the place. And what I thought I would do, just to get things started, get our heads in the game, is take a look at some of the things that the other hermits have been doing. And the guy that I want to take a look at is King Daddy D-Mac, because this guy, he knows what he's doing. I mean, let's take a look inside his house. He's right there. Okay, we'll say hi to him, and we will take a look around his base. He doesn't know that I'm recording. He doesn't know that I'm recording. But just look at all the stuff that he's got. He's got, like, all the advanced genetics things. Just thought I'd take a look at those. I mean, this place is the bee's knees. And also, he's got himself a smeltery. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you back over to where my base currently is. I've done a few bits and pieces before I started recording today, just to get myself started. You know, I don't want to be fumbling about on camera with various things that I don't fully understand. So this is my place of refuge. This is where I stay. This is where I lay my head down at night. It's not, because I don't actually have a bed yet, but this is where I am. So we've got a chest, and that is full with all of the stuff that I have. As you can see, don't really have a whole lot. I've only been playing on the server for probably about the past 2 hours. I've got this little crafting station here. We got 9 furnaces. I did that by accident. Made a bit of a mistake with my crafting, but I just thought I'd let it slide. Just have a mega crafting station. And then also, we have got a smeltery. Now, this took a little bit of time to make, because you need to make grout, and then you need to make all the seared bricks, then you need to make all the seared brick blocks. But we finally got there, and what this does is you chuck in a bunch of ores in here, and then you put lava in this tank, and then it converts the ores into like molten stuff, and it all flows out into this casting basin in which you get the blocks, or you can put little templates in there, so you get like iron ingot casting templates and all that sort of thing. I'll take a look at that later on in today's episode, but we've got ourselves a smeltery, and apparently that is a very good thing to have early on. So I feel like we've got our head in the game a little bit, and that is allowing us to continue forth and hopefully make a little bit of progress on the Modsauce server, because as you know, I'm not particularly brilliant at mods. You know, they're not my A game. I'm not the best at them, and it is a little bit of a struggle for me to play them. I find it very difficult to record episodes on this modded server. In fact, I've already tried recording an episode in which I built this little smeltery here, and I struggled with it quite a bit. But hopefully it all goes better today. I'm feeling pretty good about recording this one, and I'm very excited to be doing so. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to get things started by trying to work out how to get ourselves some of those barrel things, because that is how you store items. I saw a few of them over there, but I do believe they're quite difficult to make. As you can see, we need sacred oak wood and a sacred oak wood slab. Pretty tough, as I have absolutely no idea what a sacred oak wood tree looks like, and it's just going to be a bit of a struggle, isn't it? But I'm going to crack on with it. I've just received some news from people that are definitely in the know about this sort of thing, and that is the fact that sacred oak wood is not a requirement for making a barrel. I always thought that was a little bit strange. I didn't think that they would have done something like that, but it turns out that not enough items doesn't particularly work well with the barrels for some reason. As you can see, it just says you need sacred oak wood, and it doesn't say that you can also use normal oak wood, which makes life a whole bunch easier. So that is both good news and bad news a little bit, because I did just spend 20 minutes looking for a sacred oak tree. I still don't know what they look like. I never came across one. At least, I don't think I ever came across one. Come to think about it, I still don't know what they look like. So who knows, I probably walked past tons of them, but just was none the wiser. But anyway, the good news is that of course we can now craft up these barrels and get ourselves some nice organised storage. At some point in the near future, I am definitely 100% going to get myself an applied energistic storage computer, because those things are amazing. You just search up the items that you need, and then it can also be applied as a crafting unit and all that sort of stuff. So I am very excited for that, but obviously those sorts of things, they require a lot of resources. Currently, don't quite think I've got enough of them. So let's give it a bash. Let's see if we can create ourselves a bunch of barrels here. So all I need to do is just a bit of that. And am I going to convert all of my wood into barrels? Yeah, might as well. Then chuck that in up there. And would you look at that? We managed to get ourselves 9 barrels, which is going to come in handy. That means that we can do 9 different bits, which is a 3x3 area of barrels. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'll probably convert this entire wall into a wall of storage items, but for the minute I think I'm just going to clear out this area. As you can see, I'm getting a little bit of strange block lag, but we're going to let that pass. So I'll chuck down all of my barrels, and are they connecting up to one another? Very, very strange indeed. I've never used barrels ever in my life, okay? I've always used diamond chests or iron chests or something like that, but at the minute I don't have enough resources to merit that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chuck some cobblestone into this barrel. Let's see how this works. I believe you double click on it and it goes in there. Oh, there we go. You right click. Alright, okay, I get you. So we'll chuck all of my cobblestone onto the floor apparently. Yeah, we'll just do that. But we'll chuck all of that into the barrel, and then that'll be nice and sorted out. It can take 64 times 64 stacks. Currently we have 8 times 64 plus 42, which is good enough for me. I mean, we're getting it done. So that is 10 times 64. So we don't have a bad amount of cobblestone. What else have we got? We've got a lot of dirt. Might as well make a barrel for that one as well. Just chuck that in there. Good. And what else? Maybe iron ore? Is that something that really deserves a barrel? Probably not. We definitely don't need one for oak wood slabs. That would be a bit of a waste. Maybe sand. Sand's probably a good one to get. And also gravel and grout and clay and that sort of thing, ready for stuff to build for the smeltery. So I'll do one for sand. We've got 1 times 64 plus 7. And I will also do one for gravel, because that is something that you always end up with loads of. And on top of that, clay and grout. I believe we have used up all of the grout making this smeltery here, but I think at some point in today's episode I want to make this smeltery a lot bigger, because at the minute it's a little bit on the small side. It doesn't smelt that many ores, but we also need to get ourselves some lava so that we can actually fill it up, because that's fairly important. So there's all the clay in there, and we'll also make one for oak wood, because oak wood is incredibly useful to have. Other than that, I think I'm going to stick all of the ores in a bunch of chests that will probably go up here. So that is item sorting, storage, all done for the minute. Just want to show you something that I have learnt just now, because obviously this whole modded experience is a very, very big learning curve for me, and I just want to take you through some of the odd bits and pieces that I do learn on the way that maybe some of you more experienced lot will definitely know about, but it's just good for me to express the things that I find out. So what I've got is I've got this diamond tipped pickaxe thing that increases the durability, but what I just found out is that if I stick my pickaxe in the correct place, then I can actually repair it using cobblestone instead of using diamonds, which is incredibly helpful, because that means obviously I don't have to use up tons of diamonds, which I don't really have. And in terms of getting things from the barrel, I think I just left click on them and then I get myself a whole stack. That's a little bit overkill for me right now, but I suppose it is fairly helpful. So then I can just put it in both those slots there, and we have got ourselves a brand spanking new pickaxe with absolutely no damage on it, and it hasn't cost us any levels, whereas I would normally just stick it in an anvil. That would have been silly, wouldn't it? Although I know that Minecraft characters are meant to have 2 hands, this is very, very off-putting. Oh god, it looks horrendous. Now I have a new task at hand. I want to go out and I want to decorate my base, and I've seen a really cool type of block. It is dyed stone bricks. Can you believe it? We're going to be using stone bricks on the modded Minecraft server. I know, but I think what I can do is, no. See, I need a different type of flower to that one. I need either lily of the valley or white anemone. 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 No, I'm just gonna butcher that word even further if I try and say it again. So those ones look really, really promising, but by the look of things, we cannot use those. And whoa! What just happened there? Oh man, is that... Oh god! Poison ivy. Oh, water. Oh, I don't like this place. Oh, I'm gonna be paranoid of hitting one of them again. Man, oh man! I'm on my way out now. Wow, okay, I've got to watch out for those. But taking a look from my roost up here, I can't see any white anemone or any lilies. All I can see are those white flowers there, which I'm sure I could somehow turn into white dye. In fact, is there a way to do it using a pestle and mortar? Pestle and mortar? Is that a thing? I'll have to look that one up because, you know, I struggle with these sorts of things doing it on camera. So I'm going to do a little bit of research here, but I'm fairly certain you can get a pestle and mortar and then you can crush things down into dyes and stuff, which would be very useful because, like I say, I want to make myself some white stone bricks. I've been doing a little bit of research on the pestle and mortar. I've worked out how to use it and I have made one for myself. So we've just grabbed ourselves one of these flowers here, and I believe what happens is we chuck it in there and then we get the mystical white petals, and then we place it in with the pestle and mortar and we get ourselves the floral white powder. So that is what we need, because if we search up these stone bricks, they should appear right there. So that is the coloured stone bricks, the white ones, and as you can see, we can put the floral white powder right in the middle. All we need to do now is get ourselves a paintbrush and then we will be good to go. So that means we have to get ourselves some string, and perfect timing, it is getting towards darkness, which means I'm going to have to fight off a bunch of spiders. I'm probably not going to survive, am I? So it has been a couple of days since the last cut, but in that time I have managed to make myself a little bit of progress on the base. I've actually had enough time to sit down and play without having to record a video, which is very nice indeed. But as you can see, we have got ourselves some stone bricks going in. These are the white stone bricks, and I think these things look amazing. I think they look absolutely brilliant. I'm very, very happy with how they are turning out. But in terms of the floor, you can see I've cleared out some of the area to make way for it. I don't really know what I'm going to be doing. Now, I have to try and get out of the base there. We managed to do it just fine. Out the front here, we have got ourselves a pathway. Now, it is made of great wood log and oak wood planks, and I would say that is a very nice combination indeed. That is something that I would like to see a little bit more of. So what I was considering is, I think I might have an oak wood floor, but I might also have a great wood log trim going round. So there'll be great wood logs facing upwards going all the way around here, and then we will have oak wood in the middle, and I might end up matching that for the ceiling as well, because that will make life easier. It will make everything look fairly uniform and everything like that. But in terms of actually what my base is going to look like, this is the sort of idea. Now, we're going to be running on modules. So we have got a module here for barrels, and we have got a module here for furnaces. Then we'll have another module here for other things, and then on the other side we will have a module here for something, module here for something, and a module here for something. Obviously, we will add to those as we go along. In the middle, of course, we're going to have the smeltery, and that will be going all the way up to the ceiling. I know that one of the modules needs to make way for some of the applied energistic stuff. I know that that is way off in the distant future, and we aren't going to be doing that anytime soon, but it is definitely good to plan for these sorts of things. Otherwise, you end up finding out that you don't actually have any space left in your base for probably one of the most important things. I mean, the applied energistics storage computers are definitely one of the best things in the mod pack. I'm so happy that they're in there because it makes life so much easier. So I'm very looking forward to all that stuff. Finally, I thought the day would never come. I have located diamonds. Let's get me some of those. Please don't have any lava nearby. I haven't bothered to check, but let's just make sure we have managed to get ourselves 4 whole diamonds. It is now time to give the Tinker's Construct smeltery a bash. So I want to see if I can get this to work. And the first thing that I need to do is obviously grab myself a little bit of lava, but also I want to make myself an ingot cast. That means that we can get ingots from the smeltery. So thankfully there is some lava right down at the bottom. Now it's time to hop all the way back up to my base. I should probably make some stairs at some point for my branch mine, but then again, I don't know if this thing is going to be permanent, maybe one day. Obviously, at some point, we are going to be getting ourselves a quarry, and then a quarry plus quarry, which renders branch mining just a little bit useless, because at the highest efficiency, Quarry Plus can do 4 million blocks a day. 4 million! That's ridiculous, isn't it? 4 million blocks. But anyway, we just need to chuck that in there, and that should have worked, and it has. The lava has gone straight into the seared tank. And then we need to make aluminium brass. So if we head over to our basin and stick this in here, that will put an ingot down there. And that should, in theory, mean that this comes out as a cast. This is all running off things that I have done a couple months ago in a single-player world. So it's going to be interesting to see if this works out. But then the next thing that we need to do is we need to get ourselves the aluminium. And we will chuck that in all the way around like this. It seems a little bit strange. You can't hold right-click and go across. But those have all appeared in the smeltery, which is good to see. And then they should turn into liquid at some point. I'm watching out for any mobs that decide to come into my base, because my security isn't the greatest, is it? But let's just wait for this one to turn into molten aluminium. It doesn't seem to be happening at the minute. Oh yes, it's because it has to go through that bar. So I'm going to leave that to do that, and then we will move on to the next part. I've been an idiot, and I've embarrassed myself in front of all of my friends and all of my viewers, but apparently what I need is a casting table. I'm new to all of this. For some reason, I just thought that worked. I did think it looked a little bit strange when I placed down the ingot and it ended up in the bottom of the basin. That didn't look quite correct, but what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to replace this very quickly, chuck down my ingot, and then if we right click on this, yes, we have got ourselves the aluminium brass is running out. And then if we just right click here, we have now got an ingot cast, which is extremely useful indeed. So for any other bits that we have in here, let's take a look. How much have we got? We've got a little bit of molten copper. If we send that down to the bottom and then right click here, we should get a bunch of copper ingots. Now this process is a little bit slow, so we might need to get ourselves some of those autonomous automators, the things that left and right click for you. That'll be very useful in this situation right now, because otherwise I'm going to be standing here for days. I mean, if you take a look inside of all my chests, I've got a few more bits of aluminium, but I've got loads more silver, and from now on I am also going to be doing all of my iron in here. The main thing that I think we need to do is we need to get a casting basin that comes out over on this side, and then this one can be the casting table, so then you can do both ingots and blocks. That would make life a little bit easier, but it does mean we have to deconstruct the smeltery, and we might lose all of the liquid stuff on the inside, which isn't ideal, but we'll place this down over here. That is where the next drain is going to be going, I guess. I just spotted one of those giant great wood trees, and oh man, this is going to take a lot longer to take down than I had originally thought. I mean, to think, before I left, I was like, oh, I best make an iron axe because, you know, I'm going out to chop down trees. I am so glad I did that. Otherwise, I will be here till tomorrow. I don't know how many great wood logs I'm going to be getting from this, but it is going to be enough to satisfy me for centuries, I could tell ya. My axe actually broke down midway through taking down that great wood tree, which means there is an absolutely gigantic, humongous floating tree on the server right now, which makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable because I hate floating trees more than anyone else. But anyway, what we're doing now is we're currently working on the floor. You can see I have got all of my great wood logs in place going around in a trim, and I would say it looks pretty decent, doesn't it? It looks alright. It's pretty cool. It goes around the smeltery. Eventually in here we're going to get ourselves another one of the smeltery drains. In fact, I'm fairly certain I left a few of these smelting, so if I actually chuck these down into the crafting table, the tinker table, we can actually get ourselves a few more drains. So we need a drain, and then also we need ourselves a faucet, and then we can put that out into a casting basin, because what I'm doing is I'm currently smelting together a bunch of those seared bricks so that we can increase the size of the smeltery, because at the minute it's a little bit small. I want it to go all the way up to the ceiling. So we want ourselves a smeltery drain right here with a faucet, and then the casting basin, fairly certain that that just goes in a little bit like this. Yep, so it is just like a big bucket there. So we chuck that down there. Now we have got ourselves 2 casting basins and 1 little casting table so that we can get the ingots, which is perfect. That means that our smeltery is fully geared up to produce loads and loads of stuff. But anyway, continuing on with the floor now, I got a little bit sidetracked there. This is what it is going to look like. And I think I'm probably going to end up mirroring this on the ceiling. So I think the ceiling is going to look exactly the same as the floor, because I personally really like the way my base is coming together. I mean, if you take a look at it from my entrance here, it looks very, very nice indeed. I mean, I wish I could have some form of texture pack, you know, the Faithful Texturepack, so that all of these look a little bit cleaner. But as far as I'm concerned, it is all looking good to me. Doing the ceiling is appearing to be a little bit more challenging than doing the floor, because obviously we are actually fairly close to the surface. I keep breaking through onto the surface, and that is because I am inside a mound. But that has given me a really good idea, because I think I want to make myself like a little hobbit hole, a shire type build. I know that the Modsauce outside isn't particularly shirey. You want sort of rolling green grass that looks all lovely. But it will do. I'd say it will do. I think it will look very nice indeed. But on the inside, it really is coming together. I mean, I know it's, once again, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it's not bad for a starting house. And that's the main thing. This is the first place in which I am staying on the server. It is my first place of residence, and it is looking good. It's a great start. We've got all of the essentials almost, because we've got the smeltery and we have got all of the barrels together. We've got a bunch of storage, we've got furnaces, and we have all of those other bits and pieces. I'm sure there's other things that I need, but you lot are probably suggesting those down in the comment section, which is extremely helpful. Your help is required. I'm completely new to modifications, and I am going to need a hand with all of this stuff. But anyway, this is all very vanilla Minecraft, what I'm doing right now. Probably not particularly interesting to watch. So what I'm going to do is I'll do a quick jump cut, and the whole ceiling will be completely finished. I never thought I'd say this, but I wish there was more gravel. I've been doing a bunch of resource gathering, a bunch of smelting, and a bunch of all that sort of stuff. And I would say, if my maths is correct, that we have now got enough seared bricks for our smeltery to reach the ceiling. I mean, already, if you take a look in here, we have got ourselves a lot of smeltery space. But we're about to increase that, which is brilliant. If I can just find my way up there, we will use a little bit of cobblestone as a bit of scaffolding here. And I will start placing down the final blocks of the smeltery if I don't fall off the edge, which I almost did just then. So I place these in like this. That goes to the roof. That is perfect. I've misplaced one. Oh no. We might lose that. We might lose it. Oh, we managed to catch it. Okay. Ooh, because if that falls in there, I'll have to jump in, and then you get blood in the smeltery. And that isn't ideal. That's not something that I fancy doing. So that is those ones in place. And finally, these ones are in as well. And would you look at that? We have got ourselves a giant smeltery. Look at that. It looks brilliant. Oh, that is perfect. If I just take out this little piece of dirt here, because that's not particularly so brilliant, this looks amazing. Alright, well that is the base. That is the Mumbo Jumbo Bamboo Forest base. Doesn't have the same ring to it, but I can work with it. So there we go. That is the first episode of the Modsauce Hermitcraft server. All done and complete. I am fairly happy with what we've managed to achieve today. We've managed to get ourselves a decent starter base, and this should be a good beginning to a very good series. But anyway, if you have enjoyed this episode, please be sure to hit that like button, and if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later.